19 of them in conference, their final test at the Garden against St. John's. And here is K.K. Arnold with the first possession. She, Fudd, and Strong are all averaging at least 2.5 steals per game, in addition to what they do at this end offensively. Sarah Strong gets the first look, and that is automatic.
Textbook offense right here. We talk about the assists and the way that they're able to find each other, move the basketball, give up good shots for the best shot, and Sarah Strong is right there open.
Nearly a behind-the-back steal. Keep in mind they scored 46 points off of 33 Red Storm turnovers when they met in Hartford earlier this season. It was a stifling 88-43 win for the Huskies. A step back for Samaya Wyatt. She scored 9 points against these Huskies the first time they linked up.
And that's a good look for Wyatt. She really gets herself going in that mid-range. I love the confidence as well going up against Sarah Williams.
Front runner for National Player of the Year. Hands off to the best shooter in the country, and misses from the slot. An empty possession and a rebound to Shalana Wagner.
Okay, yes, a missed shot, but how often is AZ Fudd missing baskets? And that's where they like to play, are coming off those off-ball screens. So you got to get those through those screens and be there on the shot.
Wagner comes to get it, dead on the dribble, 12 to shoot. An aggressive take by Wyatt, and a whistle as she travels. And Gino Oriema, speaking with us pregame, says this building still makes him feel like he's 12 years old when he walks in to Madison Square Garden.
He said he's coached here. He said he's called games here early on for the WNBA. So lots of experience in this building for Gino.
Fudd misses twice in the early going. It's tipped out off the hand of Brooke Moore, and UConn will get it back. Someone who once recruited my broadcast partner, Asia Ellis and Joe Tardamella. 14th season as head coach, the program that helped raise him.
Yeah, we actually had a really good relationship back when I was in high school. My teammate ended up coming to St. John's, but just a really fun coach, a great coach at that. He's really done great things for the program.
Denied the attempt, sends it over to Ashlyn Shea. With a short clock, here's Sarah Williams on the give back. A long two is buried. Ashlyn Shea.
That's a great screen by Sarah Williams. Freed up Ashlyn Shade, so that has to be an automatic switch from the post and the guard.
Deep drive goes begging. Williams there for the rebound. Huskies looking to run. K.K. Arnold, who's been wearing that face mask since a nasal fracture in late December. A slow start for Fudd, but an offensive rebound for the Huskies.
I will say, you see the slow start for Fudd, the shooting. So St. John's doing a good job keeping them one and done. You have to keep doing that.
How important is Sarah Williams for how deep Connecticut expects to go?
Oh my gosh, it's a big difference this season, having her size and her presence. We saw what she did at Wisconsin with the scoring, but now really, it is her defensive presence, her rebounding.
A tie-up will keep it at this end with a 7-2 start for the #1 team in the nation.
I mean, this is what UConn does so well, is move the basketball, make reads, take the best shot. And how about one of your best players, and Sarah Strong taking that first one there.
UConn scored 20 of the first 22 points the first time these teams linked up. Wagner trying to get her Red Storm off to a more stabilizing start. That's a clever find inside. A miss by Daniela Abies, who's coming off her third double-double of the season. A wicked crossover from Sarah Strong.
I mean, a post player size, but in a guard's body. You see the way that she could handle that rock. That was just a great crossover, a take to the basket, and clean finish.
There's a steal for KK. Calls her own number and puts it off the window. K.K. Arnold forces a St. John's timeout.
UConn doing what UConn does best. And how about Sarah Strong using all her size on the perimeter? Whoop, the cross to the finish. And then K.K. Arnold doing what UConn does best, the defense to offensive conversion. UConn extending the lead.
Things really family builds you. I went through all of that, so now what can't I do? Keep throwing things at me. I'm ready. National champion, last year's tournament MOP, currently in the #1 overall pick combo. A healthy AZ Fudd has been an unstoppable AZ Fudd.
All right, thank you, Autumn. And Asia, I think that's why this team is not only successful, but feared is because they've got the depth, and this year they have the help.
Absolutely. I mean, they had a great team last year, but why they won a national championship was this kid right here. Her performance, that's why she got most outstanding player in the Final Four. Talk about her journey, JB. A lot of players don't come out of it the way that AZ Fudd has. Her shooting splits now, the way that she is playing, it's been absolutely incredible.
Bobby Ace able to answer her. Arnold off the mark. Jenna Al-Alfi is in the game, and that tip rebound is out of bounds to UConn.
AZ Fudd, I mean, the best thing about her game, we see the offense, but it's the fact that she's a two-way player as well. Doing what UConn does again, getting the turnover and scoring on the other end.
Stoppage here before the inbound. Fudd missed her first 3 shots from behind the arc. It's the 2 here, and so UConn has 6 buckets from 5 different players. Wyatt comes back in support against this UConn press.
And this is where UConn gets teams every time. And this is something that St. John's has had to work on. We talked about it, the 33 turnovers that they had the last time out against the Huskies.
That's number 4, and not the opportunity they hoped for after the correct appeal from the head coach. So in the end, Arnold back from the baseline. Here's Fudd. Off the strong screen. Al-Alfi gives it right back. Stepping inside the arc, that rolls off. Sarah Strong the putback down. To the corner, Shade. Got it. Ashlyn Shade again. She's the grit piece that all of her teammates praise.
I feel like Ashlyn Shade isn't talked about enough. She always comes in, makes the right shots at the right time. You saw that off the second chance opportunities, but not just that. She dives on the floor, gets those 50-50 balls, takes charges, all things that aren't on the stat sheet.
Anna Wagner here, after missing her first 4 foul shots in that Seton Hall win I mentioned. She knocked down her last 2 to give St. John's the lead for good. Dangerous pass that Donald is able to possess. Sprayed out to the corner. The 3-point marksmanship of Janaea Grant.
So this is exactly where teams can beat UConn because they gamble so much. Those driving lanes are open. When you stay poised and move the basketball around, those are the shots that you get.
Shea doing it all in the opening minutes, slicing for 2 more. St. John's trying to punish this press and able to get the early offensive opportunities. 4.5 to go. The longest tenured Red Storm player here. Donald initiates the offense. Wagner. That was left all the way, and she missed it all. Back to the Huskies with an 18-7 advantage. And into the game for the first time, Kaylee Heckel along with Blanca Quinones.
So I want to go back again and talk about this. UConn, they play such an aggressive man. You see here, KK Arnold locking it up. AZ Fudd gambled, missed it. And that's how you stay poised. You attack the driving lane, force the rotation. That leaves the open 3. And JB, that's a lot of the reason why one of UConn's vulnerabilities are guarding the 3-point line, because they gamble and help so much on defense.
Down here, they're shooting 57% from the floor, and the pull-up falls for AZ Fudd.
There it goes. One of her best shots right there, the mid-range.
Huskies have hit 3 in a row. The tip of their spear defensively when she comes into the game is the freshman Quinones. Her length and athleticism so disruptive. Wagner to the top. This is Wyatt with 10 to shoot. And Blanca defending. The fall away comes up short. 1 and done. Strong will board it and bring it. Threads the needle to Shade. Maybe too unselfish.
That's what Gino talked about, how his players pass the ball up a lot. Not the worst problem to have.
Grants, not this time. Great block out and a foul. It looked like Heckel had the inside position. That's the first foul called on either team.
So AZ Fudd missing the first few baskets, but shooters shoot. And one thing I love about her shot, that mid-range, the 3, her form, her footwork is the same every time, the mechanics. That's why she's so efficient.
Brooke Moore's back in for Joe Tartamella in St. John's. AZ Fudd, the potential #1 pick of the WNBA, earning her MBA right now and enjoying a career year. Running off that screen. Quinones gets baseline. This phenomenal freshman really elevates the ceiling for UConn.
Yeah, Blanca Quinones has become one of my favorite players personally. Plays like that, just taking advantage of the mismatch. She had the drive. You look at her body, she's so athletic, she's tall, she's strong, she's versatile. Brings so much value to the Huskies.
14 head-to-head the last time these programs met. That's a strong tape. Too strong, in fact. And a tie-up after the Wagner miss. It'll go over to the Huskies.
I mean, right off the bench, what a luxury to have players that can come in and impact the game immediately. We've seen that on the defensive end, and we see that right here on offense, absolutely taking advantage of using her athleticism.
The soon-to-be Big East Freshman of the Year, 7 times a Conference Freshman of the Week. Might have had a couple more, if not for a 6-game absence due to a shoulder injury as well.
And it's crazy, JB, because early on in the preseason, no one talked about her. No one knew who Blanca Quinones was. Now she's making a name for herself, racking up on all those Freshman of the Week awards.
Strong had the first hoop of the night at the Garden. Here she feeds the freshman. Blanca back to work, and it falls off. An immediate double team on that rebound. And Daniela Abies did well to get out of it with possession. This is Ariel Little from Brooklyn, a sophomore, 5'4", into the game for the first time with just over 2 to go in the opening quarter. Sarah Strong gets the steal. With numbers if she wants to press the issue. Here's Fudd off the Strong screen. Gets the switch. Post entry is blocked. Brooke Moore, part of the second-best defense in the Big East behind these Connecticut Huskies.
And how about it, getting in there and blocking a post there in the paint.
Renea Grant missed, but is able to track down another possession in the half court.
And I know the Storm want to see Brooke Moore get it going. You credit the Husky defense. They're blowing up everything. Off ball screens, on ball screens.
Little with a long heave to the corner. Shot clock winding down. The Red Storm able to beat it, but no bucket. Now Heckle leads the counter. Running with Shade. Spot up 3. She's been hot early, but comes up short here. The Red Storm dodge one with 1 minute to go.
They got bailed out by that one. You got to fan out and find the shooters, especially Shade, as you said, who just put a couple in.
St. John's only shooting 27% from the floor. Heckle a deflection. And 10 left on the timer as KK Arnold will re-enter. Arnold second in the Big East in assists per game and steals per game. Sarah Williams in to protect Sarah Strong in the final seconds of the first quarter. 6 on the timer. Little the back cut. Perfectly executed out of the inbound for the Red Storm.
All you got to do is have poise, patience, make the right read. There's a lot of size coming at you with the Huskies.
6 seconds the differential. Shot and game clock here. AZ Fudd with 2 buckets, 4 points. And Miss Anthony Stanza. The pull-up has been her best friend. That's like a layup for AZ Fudd.
It's unguardable. It really is. And she has such a quick release, the same form every time.
5 seconds left for Grants. And knocked out off her leg. It goes back to UConn with 2.9.
This is how you stay poised and execute on an inbound play. Abies, great pass to Little on the backdoor cut there. And on the other end, how about it? You leave AZ Spud, give her too much space. Going in every time.
Arnold unable to get a shot off before the horn, so they settle for a 24-9 lead after one here at the Garden. The #1 team in the nation looking to make a memory in Manhattan before turning their attention to the Big East tournament.
program as a New Yorker. He shared with me that he followed St. John's basketball growing up. He took the transit to see the game. So it is a full circle moment for head coach Joe Tartamella.
Last Big East coach to beat #1 UConn. Those were much different circumstances in Hartford than here tonight. Pretty convincing first quarter for a team vying for another undefeated regular season. Ariel Little, dead on the dribble, sends it to the top. Avies with 5 to shoot, and Williams defending. A good look deep in the clock, and Brooke Moore connects.
I'm telling you, this is it every single time. You attack the paint, get the ball moving. The three is there.
She averages 12 points per night. Her first bucket here to open the second frame. But knocked off that screen. Blanca Quiñones puts it down and has her pocket picked by Little. Swerving across the timeline. And momentum here for the home team. Once again, the first standalone women's basketball game for St. John's. And it comes against the nation's #1. As we take a look at the Big East standings, Gino Auriemma and company have already celebrated another regular season crown. Villanova locked in as the 2.
In those top 5 teams, you see St. John snuck right up in there to get the bye, a position that you really want to be in, have a little bit of fresh legs coming into the tournament a bit late.
Big 3 by Kennedy Townsend deep in the Creighton win at Xavier today is going to factor into that top 5. We'll talk about the bracket before we're finished here tonight in New York City.
Another look, great take inside by Daniela. And Sarah Williams, she's a player, she's a shot blocker. She tends to get into some foul trouble, so that's exactly what you want to do. You want to continue to attack the bigs, try to get them into some foul trouble, make them go smaller.
It is the first foul on Sarah Strong. The NHL on TNT returns this Tuesday with the Panthers and the Devils at 7 Eastern, followed by the Lightning and Wild at 9:30 Eastern. Our coverage begins at 6:30 on TNT and HBO Max. Rebound poked away from Strong momentarily. She tracks it down in the corner. And here comes KK Arnold with a full head of steam and a wide open post in Sarah Williams.
Coach not happy about that at all. You cannot have that miscue. In transition, you always go back to the paint first.
Another back cut here. Moore, the recipient, got caught in traffic and turned it over. Again, looking to get in deep. Williams on the face-up. Second defender arrives. She muscles it up and in. Sarah Williams, the Brooklyn native.
Excellent poise and patience, because that dig was coming. And what did Williams do? She kept going over to that other side in a tough finish.
UConn not hitting as many threes as we're used to, but they have dominated the interior. 8 minutes to go before the half. Moore wants it back from Avies. Off that screen, finds the roller. Wonderful ball movement. Can they get a look? Have to extend the range. And the Huskies made a miss.
I think the shot should have been taken there in the corner.
Ali Zabel on the floor for UConn. Nunez at the wing. Huskies shooting 59% from the floor in this opening half. Here's Zabel in attack mode, able to get to that left hand.
When you talk about the depth, someone is always coming off the bench for the Huskies and putting in that work. And Zabel is one of those players that has really come. Her emergence came in last season. We saw a lot of her, and she's just gotten so much better in this season.
Well defended again, no foul. Yeah, when you've made 10 threes in a game, I think we're going to get some hard closeouts. And Zabel now has a wide open right-handed layup.
Is she on the scouting report? What's happening? Maybe it's because she wasn't shooting the three, she was driving it in. That's how you got to do it. But I'll tell you what, UConn going to work. Sarah Williams getting it done on the inside, countering that outside game. The Wisconsin transfer who has come in and gave UConn its size it needs. Saw that there with the cut. She has been outstanding so far in this match.
Throwing shade on any thought of an upset bid here at the Garden. If
I like what you did there.
Okay. St. John's has done well, relatively speaking, against this full-court defensive pressure. Much better than in the first meeting between these programs.
Absolutely. Some early turnovers, too, but they've done a great job cleaning it up.
Bill Donald here against Ali Zabel defensively. Single digits on the timer again, and they'll hit Shade with the foul. Her first, third on Connecticut. 6.5 to go as you get a look at Joe Tardamella. Two other Big East schools have had the same head coach for as long as he's been with St. John's. Of course, Gino Auriemma. And then Creighton's Jim Flannery, the other. Wagner gets the reset to 20 on the shot clock. And this is Shade defensively on the switch. Grant throws down to the baseline. Samaya White against Sarah Strong. Ill-advised pass and 2 left to shoot for the home team.
That's why UConn's so good defensively. They're so connected. No one is ever on an island. You're guarding your man, they get by you, that help side is there. The helper is there, taking away that pass.
What a great look from the baseline. Janaea Grant soaring for 2.
It's really good execution, and that's what you want to do. Get a timeout, I mean not get a timeout, get the ball to bounce, you get a play call going. Great execution from the Red Storm.
She leads them in made threes, but that time getting to the front of the rim. Sarah Strong, so sensational. I mean, what more can you say? No UConn player in the NCAA era has averaged her point, rebound, and assist numbers.
I mean, she does really just about everything. But going back to that play, it's great execution there. Grant was run off the three-point line. You said it, that's what she does. She shoots the ball. You run her off the line. That's a great curl cut, an easy bucket at the basket.
2 of their best looks have come off of inbounds plays. The backdoor cut and then that lob.
Listen, you got to get them where you get them. Want to see them go downhill and attack and get to the free throw line more as well. They've done a solid job at that too.
Strong surveys. AZ Fud.
Too much room. She missed it. Too much room.
Now 0 for 4 from behind the arc at the Garden. Donald bobbles momentarily, sends it back to Wagner. 3rd in the Big East in assists per game.
I'll tell you what, JB, she ain't going 0 for 4 in the NCAA tournament. Can't keep that open.
Strong take for Shalana Wagner. Heckel with a full head of steam. Able to finish with the right hand.
Heckel, just an absolute talent. Was so much fun to watch in her freshman season at USC. Saw the upside there and then comes into this program making her presence felt.
Oh, Sarah Strong just ripped it away and is fouled.
Right now, St. John's, what they're doing really well, beating the Huskies off the bounce. That's how you got to do it with the foot speed. Head down, shoulder down, get to the basket. And same here on the other end. Heckel going at it.
The daughter of Donna and Walter. Mother played softball for St. John's. Father played baseball for St. John's. So worth highlighting her connection to this opponent. You know this about Fudge. She will not stop shooting, nor should she.
Oh, not at all. No matter what the game's going for her, she stays poised. She's calm, cool, collected.
Strong errors on that three-point attempt. AZ Fud's already endured what Gino Auriemma described as the worst shooting month he's ever seen from a fantastic shooter. He's broken out of that and then some at the tail end of this super senior campaign.
I'll tell you what, no one keeps it real more than Gino. Always have great conversations with him.
He keeps it real with this freshman too, Blanca Quiñones, and I think that's because he knows how instrumental she's going to be the deeper into their postseason the Huskies go.
What was that he said? I've never seen someone come in and just do 5 things. She said she does 5 different things that his players would never even dare to do, but has said great things about Blanca Quiñones. So much to learn, but so far advanced.
This may be one of those things as she leads the break. To Shade, and now Strong. One more to the corner. St. John's recovering defensively. The Huskies opt for patience. Shade could not hit it, and a rebound to Julie Bahati.
I know Gino wasn't happy about that play. I think he wanted the ball, get the ball moving to the other side.
Wagner. Just missed with the soft touch. Here's Shade the other way for the Huskies. Inside of 4 to go in our opening half. They have not trailed. Shot fake to the top. Blanca bottoms. A 38% three-point shooter as a freshman.
Yeah, there has to be better talk on the ball screen action on rotations. They're leaving too many UConn shooters wide open.
So it'll be third made three for UConn. Strong opened the game with one. Shade hit another. Now Quinones. Fudd with the takeaway. And 2 back defensively. Waits for reinforcements. It's a travel. Turnover number 3 for UConn.
Look at the ball movement here. That's such a great pass. Sarah Strong with the pitch back. Give up a good shot for an even better shot. That's what UConn does so well. This is a team that's so selfless in their passing. I mean, Coach said they pass the ball too much sometimes, but they always all look out for one another.
Strong in particular, right?
Strong
He's
in particular. That
desperate
just
for
had
her
the
to
pitch
take
back.
more shots. Little to the baseline, ran out of room. That's another steal. A live ball turnover as Fudd on the move. Little eyes fake, a burst to the baseline. No kick there. A soccer stop by Bahati. With the Red Storm out in transition. Red Storm want to run some half-court offense here. What a dime inside of the first bucket for Kylie Lavelle.
It's a really good play, a really good baiting action to find the open woman on the bottom. Great execution from St. John.
Fudd along 2. That goes Bogan. An empty trip for UConn. Bahati another board. Donald thought about 3 off the screen. Instead, in attack mode, turns it over. How quick are those hands from Sarah Strong?
Such great hands.
KK Arnold to the foul line.
This is a really good play, a really good pass. Lavelle sneaking in behind the defense. A great look in there and a great take from KK Arnold. All the contact to the free throw line.
Defensively, she and the Huskies already have 10 steals. She, along with Strong and Fudd, are all averaging at least 2.5 per game. I mentioned that threshold because there's only one D1 school besides UConn with 3 players getting 2.5 steals per game. It's Sam Houston State. That's how unique they are defensively. One of many reasons why they're on track to lead the country in defensive points allowed again this season.
Yeah,
51 per game.
We talked about it a little bit, JB. That's the reason why they are so a different team this year than they were last year. It is that steal to score, what we're seeing right here.
Don't you love when they make a play to illustrate your point, OJ?
Yes,
How did you orchestrate
but they do
that?
it every time because that's what they do.
Little relocation 3. Would have been money. A foul on the rebound. Looks like they got Strong. That's her second. 15th foul with 95 seconds to go in the half.
So we look at the stats here. This is what I mean by what makes them different. It's the defense, the steals, the scores. They're averaging more steals. You see they're 15. That gives them more possessions. That gives them more points. That's why their scoring margin is higher. That's the biggest difference from this UConn squad. Sarah Strong, Blanca Quinones, Sarah Williams. Give that versatility defensively that has really allowed them to excel. KK Arnold, everybody.
This is Julie Bahati at the line, originally from Kenya, moved to Massachusetts as a teen. She's a nursing major. And St. John's has done well to highlight the rigorous class schedule and clinical rotations at local hospitals that Bahati takes on when she's not on the floor. Some good first half burn for her here. In particular, controlling that defensive board.
Nursing school is no joke. I had some teammates in that major. It takes them a lot of time.
Heckel could not collect her own, and it goes over to St. John's. Haley Heckel, a sophomore, a newcomer, but someone who feels like she's been in UConn uniforms her whole life.
Yeah, I mean, she fits into this program so well, has such a high ceiling, a high motor. Gino's talked about it. Still trying to find her footing within this system. But he's praised her, talked about how great she can be.
Wagner gets shade on the switch. 12 to shoot. Abies, good look opposite. 5 on the time. Has to be now for St. John's. Bud clears the defensive glass. A nice outlet to Quiñones. Missed the layup. Oh, what a recovery by Williams. Nearly took it back for UConn. And St. John's will settle down. UConn will lead wire to wire in this half. More to the win. Ariel Little. No. A fight for possession. And it goes out of bounds to Connecticut with 20 seconds remaining and the shot clock turned off.
I'll tell you what, very impressed with the way that St. John continues to fight so far in this first half.
Asia, this will be the 4th consecutive 40-point first half for UConn. To put that in perspective, opponents only average, like we said, 50 points per game against them.
That's just pure dominance.
Heckel initiates with 8. Here's 5. One more to Quiñones. Wow. A bad miss. 2 left for Little. The hoist at the horn. Nearly got it. And
after a little better. But I thought we did some good stuff offensively, even though we've only scored 20. Obviously, our turnovers are still an issue. But I like that we're competing. You know, we've got to stay with that. We've got to continue to communicate better defensively. We had some, too much slippage on the defensive end in transition. But I like our fight. We got to keep competing and try to do a better job getting to the half court and executing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have heard many opposing coaches celebrate the turnover into the 3rd row as opposed to the one that leads to a transition layup or 3.
Absolutely. If anything, you take the dead ball, not the live ball. But to coach's point, they did a great job in the half-court offense early on in that first half, being poised and patient. They've got to take care of the basketball.
Now, Sarah Strong did just pick up her 3rd foul. You saw St. John's go right after her. Unlikely to be consequential tonight, but of course, something that bears monitoring. And a turnover to begin the second half, beg your pardon, for Gino Auriemma. Good balanced scoring effort for St. John's as well. Grant with a couple of buckets to lead the way with 5 points. Here's Brooke Moore. Sends it over to Wagner. Shea picks her up defensively. 1 minute into our 3rd quarter as Wyatt comes up short. And Shade is there to collect a rebound, a category where she's really done a lot of heavy lifting.
That's the shot that UConn wants St. John's to take. Force those outside jumpers. You don't want to just pass the ball around. That's not a good look offensively. Got to attack the paint.
Strong off the heel. Gets an offensive rebound. K.K. Arnold. No. How about a 3rd bite at the Big Apple?
I don't think a single St. John's player out there grabbed the body to box out. And that's exactly what you got to do. UConn's going to get it off the glass.
Did you say body because Gino Auriemma lamented the fact that his team had as many offensive rebounds as a deceased contributor going to the half with Autumn Johnson? Okay. We'll belabor that point, but they do come right out in the 3rd quarter and get to the offensive glass.
I mean, this is how you hustle. She missed a shot, chased her own rebound. That's how you punish someone for not getting a body. St. John's is the one that had the dead body on that one, as you said.
Samaya Wyatt, a sophomore from Powder Springs, Georgia, at the line. Last year, she was at Austin Peay, and last year she was the A-Sun Freshman of the Year, led the conference and was 2nd nationally among Division I freshmen in field goal percentage. The only player she trailed, Sarah Strong.
An incredible pickup. It speaks volumes to coach and talk about the culture he is continuing to build here. Another uncharacteristic turnover for UConn.
Not sure if Shade wanted to shoot it or pass it, but either way, she was 1 step ahead of the process. A sluggish start to our third quarter here in the regular season finale. UConn looking for win number 31 and a perfect 20-0 mark. Another rip through the Big East. Wagner into trouble. Shade digs it out. Here comes KK Arnold running with AZ Fudd. Get out! Her first made three in the opening moments of the third quarter.
Again, she stays poised no matter how the game is going. She just lets it come there. You miss a couple threes, that's fine. She's going to continue to shoot it, take the best shot. That's what makes her so special.
That's a great point. You would never look at that stroke and say she missed her first four of the game from behind the arc.
Actually, she got that late Kobe Bryant mindset when he airballed about 20 of them before making it.
Abies finds a shooter opposite, and Brooke Moore sticks the three for St. John's.
That's the shot that Brooke Moore needed to see. Hopefully this really gets her going, because I know St. John's, they want to see more from her offensively.
Deep touch for Sarah Strong. The jump hook is right through.
And another element of UConn that makes them so special, their versatility. They can punish you by going big, by going small. Sarah Strong, that player that can take you from outside but body you on the inside.
Wyatt turns it over. Sarah Strong now 44 straight games reaching double figures. She's the first to get there tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is how you go to work. We got AZ Fudd doing Fudd things, shooting on the inside, and then, I mean, on the outside, and then on the inside, Sarah Strong bodying it up, showing her big girl moves inside the paint. Extremely versatile player, high IQ. I mean, she loves to punish the mismatch.
Let's check in with Autumn.
When I asked Gino how Sarah Strong has evolved this season in her sophomore year, he shared Sarah started the year dominant. Then she hit a stretch where she was sick and still put up 20 a night. But he said it didn't feel like her. But at the same time, AZ Fudd then started to take off offensively. So that production balanced and shifted. Now he says both are healthy, and that's when UConn is at its best. But here's where Gino is still pushing Sarah. Shot selection and shot volume. At one point, she was near the top of the country in assist-to-turnover ratio, almost unheard of for a player at her size. But Gino said she started passing just to pass because she enjoys distributing. But his message to her is just being intentional, being aggressive, and he flat out said, hey, I'd rather her shoot than pass it anytime, any day.
Thank you very much. Autumn will focus on her defense for a moment here. She's got 6 steals to tie a career high as St. John's continues to bury shots from the three-point arc.
And how about it? A player that is just itching to pass the ball. Not trying to hog the ball and score. That's your issue. The problem with the player is passing.
And Jayla Donald finally in the box score tonight. Her first made field goal. Teed up 3 for Strong. And a rebounding foul on Williams to send things the other way. I mentioned the rarefied era for Sarah Strong with 18 points per game, 7 rebounds and 4 assists. But you always have to stress she's doing that in only 26 minutes per game. She basically plays 3 quarters per night. On a per 40-minute basis, she's at 28 and 11 with 6 assists and nearly 5 steals per game. I mean, it's incredible.
Exactly, a high usage rate. She's involved in every single play. Even when she's not scoring, she's passing, rebounding, stealing, doing so much for the Huskies. It's why she's one of the best players in the country.
Abies directing traffic, wants to attack Williams, who said, absolutely not. This is my city. Now the screen for Shade. Wants to reward her big and just off the fingertips of Sarah Williams.
This is what they were missing last year, that Williams brings that inside presence. That's how you get up there and swat that thing. She said that is not happening today. What I will say, though, on the other end, when she rolled down to the basket, I thought she could have connected with the body first, release, and then get it. That's how you get away from your defender.
It's a good coaching tip, and we'll just highlight that St. John's actually leads the Big East in blocks, just ahead of Connecticut, number 2 in that category. One of the rare categories the Huskies do not lead conference-wide. Lavelle sends it to Janaea Grant. She's had a great game. A 3-point specialist who's showing off the ability to score from all 3 levels.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, she's done a great job being poised against the UConn defense and making the right read.
At the elbow, face-up game for Sarah Strong. Great help defense. Abies took it away. And now Durant stops at the three-point line. Kaylee Heckel knocks it out and will step aside. Midway point of the third quarter. UConn looking for a wire-to-wire victory and a perfect regular season mark.
But a lot of growing pains, as you said. UConn really had to grow from that moment, going into that non-conference game mid-season. Hey, they took it all the way and performed after that.
Kaylee Heckel with the steal. Hits the brakes. Hits the shot off the window.
That moment when you don't realize how wide open you are.
One of the thought on the winning streak. A win here tonight would match their own mark of 47, as you saw in the graphic dating back to last season. That would give UConn 5 of the top 6 winning streaks in NCAA history.
I feel like a lot of these milestones are just beating their own.
Out in the corner. Pretty shots. Kylie Lavelle had to get her feet down in front of her own bench. Five made threes for each program now. Inside of 4 minutes to go in the third. Quinones is back in the game. Hand off to Fudd. Two-player game on the blow by. Fudd flips it up and in.
I mean, her decision-making, I think, is really where she has grown offensively. We see that she shoots the mid-range a lot. You keep the body on her, she takes it to the basket.
She has joined Sarah Strong in double figures with 11. A foul on the offensive rebound as Abies was after an extra possession.
I mean, clearly they got tired of her shooting those mid-range jumpers, but when you ride her hips, she's just going to punish you even more, taking it to the basket. Dad over there on the bench is liking it. Oh, he's just as poised as she is. That was a poised clap there.
Fudd's career high of 34 came against St. John's in February of last year. Kylie Lavelle with her fingerprints all over this third quarter. She's going to the stride. She scored in double figures against UConn in last year's Big East tournament. And that's where we are heading next with UConn, of course, the regular season champion and the top seed. St. John's may have been knocked out of the top 5 here today on the final day of regular season competition, which would mean they would have to play Friday and not get one of the coveted byes. UConn will begin its bid at noon on Saturday.
So clearly my counting skills are wrong. When I was looking at that list, I thought they were at the number 5. So definitely a tough position to, not the worst position to be in, but tough in terms of having to play early.
Williams lost the handle on the way up. Has it back. One more to the corner. Zabel. Not this time. Tip rebound. On the reload. This time Zabel knocks it down. The offensive rebounding of Sarah Williams keeping the possession alive for UConn. Blanca Quinones off the floor now for the Huskies, having just picked up her 3rd foul. Brooke Moore driving into a second defender. Lavelle from the same spot. Different result this time. One and done for St. John's. Here's the Bell with her eyes up. The entry to Strong. Swing, swing. Fudd pays it off.
We're just continuing to see elite textbook basketball night in and night out on both ends of the floor from the Huskies.
We've got 7 made threes from 6 different contributors. Timeout, St. John's. UConn has seized control of this third stanza to expand their lead. And their three-point shooting expanding out to the largest lead of the night. UConn's first undefeated conference season came in 1995 when they went 18-0 in the Big East. A win here tonight will give them 20 such seasons, more than double any other D1 program over that same period. Single digits on the shot clock for Samaya Wyatt playing off 2 feet in the lane. A rebound down to the Huskies, and Heckel will bring it herself. Shade sets up Fudd. Wanted to go inside, instead Zabel. Midway point of the shot clock. Lavelle defending. All those offensive rebounds, you could tell. They wanted a deep touch for Sarah Williams and one.
And that's what I love. As a former post player, when your team rewards you for the work that you are putting in, and they saw the mismatch in there with Williams, I mean, just all the size and height advantage. Such a great move. Turnaround fader. I mean, she is so good on this squad on defense, but when her offense is humming, she just brings that interior presence, which just adds so much more value to the Huskies.
Third foul on Wyatt, 9 points for Williams. What more do we need to know, Autumn?
Well, when we talked about March approaching, Sarah Williams told me this is why she came to UConn, to compete at this time of the year. Her mindset is put everything together. She's taking what she learned in the preseason and regular season and focusing on awareness, understanding where her teammates need her most and how to get them open. She's also locking in on the strategic rebounding and polishing her post work, knowing March brings different matchups and more physical play. She told me it hasn't been much experience when it comes to March for me and making a deep run. So she's excited about the opportunity and to absorb every piece of information that the coaching staff gives to her and apply it when the lights are shining bright.
You know, Autumn and Asia, I think about some of her best moments coming against the highest level of competition. Iowa comes to mind, Notre Dame, Tennessee, teams with Final Four aspirations and also big front courts.
Yeah, I mean, this is no surprise at all. She was going to work at Wisconsin, dropping 20. I mean, right under Lauren Betts, when you talk about one of the premier post players in the league. I was so happy when she had the opportunity to hit the transfer portal and get picked up here by UConn, because to Autumn's point, she has never had the chance to do anything in March Madness. Her team has not been there. And now she gets this opportunity on a big stage every single night, just playing with UConn alone.
UConn had scored 9 in a row before that free throw for the sophomore forward. Wyatt has to settle for 1 out of 2. And protecting her defensive board, Strong has another rebound. Here's Heckel off a solid screen. Able to get to the block and score. Kaylee Heckel again.
I remember Gino saying that's the one player he doesn't have to worry about passing up the ball too much. He said Heckel just wants to score that thing.
Wagner gets it back from Wyatt. Wanted the whistle on the Heckel reach. And there it is on the bump instead. Final seconds of the third quarter. UConn winning this frame by a 9-point margin. Trying to stay perfect at Madison Square Garden. Came in 7-0, including 3-0 head-to-head against St. John's. Huskies last played here in 2015. And again, this one's special because it's a standalone women's basketball game. Followed the Knicks and San Antonio from earlier today, but not part of a doubleheader in the college basketball landscape. Cheer on your favorite Big East teams with officially licensed fan gear. For the best selection of team apparel and accessories, head to shopncaasports.com today. Shot clock turned off. UConn can take the last before we head to the fourth. They put 25 on the board since halftime. Their biggest scoring quarter of the game thus far. Heckel tried to split, lost the handle, hit the deck, saved the possession. Williams goes to work and scores with 5 seconds left. A homecoming night for Sarah Williams. And that just rings off the iron on the full court heave. She's into double figures with 11 points on 5 of 6 shooting from the floor. AZ Fudd's final regular season game of her 5-year career, closing in on regular season perfection.
Going through a season where we didn't lose games, we were 18-0 in the Big Ten, and we just learned real quick in the Final Four.
Sarah Strong does get the start here in the fourth quarter. We'll see how many minutes she has left before the Huskies turn their attention to Saturday at noon, their first Big East tournament game. Nancy Williams has joined the group in double figures. Now she threads the needle. Oh, it was a keyhole shot to Ali Zabel.
I mean, JB, how many plays have we just seen in this half alone of poise through the chaos? Right, poise through the chaos. Sarah Williams stuck there, and you've got a player cutting. So the ball is never dead because so many players are moving. And the late Kobe Bryant used to always say this: the most dangerous player on the floor is the player off the ball. And that's just how you cut and bail your team out from getting a turnover.
Sarah Williams filling out the box score. How encouraging is this as UConn turns its attention to the postseason?
I mean, you want to peak in this month and play some of your best basketball. UConn as a team is doing it, but to see Sarah Williams really step up, I know coach is happy about that.
It's the 20th turnover for the Red Storm. Keep in mind, 33 was the number the last time these programs got together. Only 23 points only off of those turnovers for UConn. Blanca Quiñones has the basketball. Williams comes to get it. Shade at the three-point line. Draws front iron. Wagner has the defensive board. This bears monitoring. Blanca's down behind the play. The star freshman injured as a three pops out. Offensive rebound. White hammers the dribble. Once again, the active hands defensively, and as you can see, Quiñones is back in the fray. Well, if a shoelace is all it costs her, that's a great sign for Connecticut.
And remember, she had an aggravated shoulder injury early, not too long ago. We see her go down here. She goes down tough. She takes a minute to get up, but still hustles back and causes that jump ball. I mean, that's what she brings to this team. That's what she brings off the bench. That's what makes her so special.
This is definitely lower body. They're going to let her play through it. Kyla Hayes into the game for the Red Storm. Gets it back here. Weave action to Wyatt, who rises for a tough two. Williams made her miss and pulls down that board. Bell exploring off the bounce. Here's Arnold with 4 assists in the game. Shade off the jab step. Difficult three off the mark. Well defended by the Red Storm. Even with that miss, UConn still at 57% from the floor for this game. It's a nice fall away from Samaya Wyatt. We mentioned the path through the Big East tournament is likely going to wind through Friday now for Joe Tarpamella and company. We'll give you the full bracket before we go off the air tonight. Final day of the regular season here in the Big East. Zabel had it stripped. Nice hands by Hayes. And she coughs it up. Fortunate to find its way to Donald.
I will say lots more time in this game, but for St. John's, given the point differential, you know, you look at it where you want to get better and better, and they've turned the ball over less compared to last game. I thought they are competing really well right now despite the scoring margin on defense.
Shade out from in front of her bench as we approach the 7-minute mark. Zabel turns the corner, circles baseline. Shade tees up a triple. Pulled down on the defensive glass by Wyatt. A 2.5-minute scoring drought for UConn. Only 5 points combined between the teams here in the fourth frame. Jayla Donald could not find a way around Shade. There's Grant to send it to Donald. Zabel with a hand in her face, missed badly. And that rebound goes out of bounds and over to the #1 team in the nation. Tomorrow night, 4 teams will battle in the unrivaled semifinals. With a chance to play for $600,000 in the championship. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on TNT, True TV, and HBO Max here in the city with a decidedly UConn flair.
Yeah, I mean, UConn is unrivaled. You talk about Stewie, Nafisa Collier running the whole joint. Done a great job with that. So many players in the mix. Tiffany Hayes, Stewie, Paige Beckers. I mean, it is UConn that we are seeing the Huskies on full display and unrivaled.
Jenna Alfie in the post, 4 around her for UConn with 7 to shoot. Quinones, a long 2. Can't get the bounce. And a foul on the Huskies. Alfie takes the personal. Last weekend against Providence, she had 16 rebounds in 19 minutes, Asia.
I mean, that's outstanding. That's how you come to play. That's how she's the most valuable asset is her ability to get on the glass, crash the boards, blue-collar work ethic.
Told the media that she's found her confidence after missing some time in the middle of the league schedule. Bahati misses off the underside of the rim. Grant on the reset. So for Connecticut to have Alfie feeling good and confident, and this game as a launching point for Sarah Williams, maybe the best that their 5 position has been all year.
Absolutely. Speaks volumes to the depth that they have this season. And yes, they've dealt with some injury here and there, but nothing season-ending for the Huskies. Everybody back in the fold and just playing really well, really connecting. And this is a team that potentially really can win this national championship. I mean, top tier at its best.
Once again, out of stoppages, Cardamella's group have been at their best. Another baseline out-of-bounds play hits. Zabel has the answer.
She's just another one. That release is so quick. The shot is so pretty. You cannot give her any space.
Not fair that the only better one in the country might be her teammate, right?
I mean, right?
Timeout here at Madison Square Garden. Ali Zabel getting in the mix and keeping Connecticut in position for a wire-to-wire victory to close out the regular season in the Big East. The only one with an invitation.
Asia, I agree. We'll see about the SEC tournament and to see who will be that last spot as a #1 seed. However, UConn's #1 overall seed looks pretty set in stone. Yes, UConn's undefeated record jumps off the page, but I asked selection committee chair Amanda Braun if it's more than just the 0 in the loss column, and she said it is. Amanda Braun emphasized how difficult it is to win in your conference games when you're the hunted. Every team studies you and circles those games, and since the last top 16 reveal, UConn has handled Villanova and Marquette and continued to win on the road. But what really stands out to the committee is the non-con schedule. She described it as tough, especially early in the season with missing pieces, still trying to find their stride, yet they gelled so quickly. So yes, they're undefeated, but it's the elite non-con wins, that conference consistency and performing under pressure that really stands out to the committee the most.
Really great detail there, Autumn. And we showed their most recent loss going back to last season against Tennessee. Part of the narrative arc of this season for UConn has been revenge against the 3 teams that beat them last year. The Lady Vols, Notre Dame, USC, all in runaway fashion.
And they have done it. And that's what they've had to do since they're back when they were in the American Conference. When you need quad 1 wins, quality wins to build your resume for the tournament, they get it done by those non-conference games.
Freshman Khalees Fisher is in the game, and with her minutes now, she's the only UConn Husky yet to score. This ovation is for Ayanna Patterson. While we were chatting selection committee, Jana Alfie got a bucket. And Patterson, who missed nearly 1,000 days of action after multiple season-ending injuries, has really been an uplifting individual story for UConn, and it speaks to where we started, right? Not just a bid for perfection and a pursuit of an undefeated national championship, defense of their title, but in the context of the players who have been here 4 or 5 years, you know, the depths that they've had to endure.
And coaches talked about it. It wasn't, I asked them if it was about, if there was any pressure with expectation and disappointment from these players for not winning championships throughout that season, when that has been what the Huskies have done for so long. But he said no. He said every individual player was always about the injury. That has always been the focus, their journey bouncing back, and we've seen it pay dividends as they're a healthy team all back out on the floor. It's so great to see.
Caroline Ducharme's another great example, the redshirt senior. She's 33 for UConn, and her career has not gone the way that anyone wanted, but she's still impacted winning behind the scenes in so many ways. Hayes hits that jumper. St. John's has matched their total from last matchup in the scoring column with 3 minutes to go. Here is Ducharme. Looking for a highlight on the big stage here at Madison Square Garden. Ariel Little with the basketball, a former top 100 recruit who played 5 miles away from this arena in southern Brooklyn as a prep. Here she is with a dozen to shoot. Hayes off the window.
I love that. Look how the bench is up, still clapping, still cheering for their teammate. I mean, St. John's done a lot better in this game versus the last matchup. They've had a great season, what we talked about for what they've done. They get better every season. Such a high ceiling for this program.
Khalees Fisher is going to be a star. A reserve role for now, but her future as bright as this stage.
Every player down the line for the Husky, I mean, they're just A1. They are top tier, no matter how many minutes they are getting.
An All-American gets a hoop in this regular season finale. Donald had it partially blocked. Here comes Fisher again. Will she challenge Bahati? Ducharme filling the lane and filling it up for UConn. In many ways, an ideal finish to this season before they turn their attention to the postseason for Gina Auriemma. A lot of Huskies involved, many of them coming away with points tonight.
Absolutely, and this is what you want to see, the depth. This is where you prove you're trustworthy, and this is why he's been able to play his bench a lot, because they've been able to do that.
Donald drives another one through. Her second made three, she's got 8 points. St. John's will fall to 21-10. They'll finish conference play 11-9 in the Big East. Another winning season for the Red Storm. Pure from the wing. Kaylee Heckel adds to the UConn total as we hit the final minute. It started with a Sarah Strong jumper, and UConn never looked back. It'll be a wire-to-wire final regular season victory here in New York City. What could be the final possession for Janaea Grant and St. John's. UConn has the rebound, the shot clock turned off. And they have an undefeated regular season for the 11th time in program history, their first since 2018. Make it 47 wins in a row overall dating back to last year, meaning UConn now owns 5 of the top 6 winning streaks in NCAA history. Including Big East tournament victories, 67 straight league wins as they head into the 2026 edition of the Big East tournament as the top seed. And their bid for the 7th perfect season in program history continues Saturday at noon.